Hi there, my name is April Lee. I am a woman who deals with chronic illness, and I have been prescribed Lexapro. Um, I was personally prescribed Lexapro for something that my doctor is calling situational depression. Um, I know that there's many forms of depression, anxiety, and things like that, but as far as my case, I've known my doctor for about 20 years, and he knows me well. He knows he's a good doctor. He knows the way I think, he knows the way I process things, he knows how I handle things. I mean, I've been seeing him for quite a while, and it went from, every few years to just being, like having a cold or whatever, to now dealing with me for 12 years of symptoms leading to full-blown chronic illness, and overseeing my care the past 5 years of endless symptoms. And he knows how I handle things. And he saw a change in the way I've been able to cope with these things. And he specifically told me that, I've known you a long time, and you're putting on a front, you're being very strong, but your symptoms are becoming more extreme. Like, I'm having extra symptoms in addition to all my normal chronic illness symptoms, like from fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome and mast cell activation syndrome and all of that. So he could tell. And he's like, I think that you have, he called it an underlying situational depression mixed in with all of my illness, and learning how to like deal and cope with it. And so I had went through a process of trying to fight my illnesses and get rid of them for years. It's been almost 5 straight years, and I have not been able to do that. And I am a fixer, and I am a person that wants to like fix something and move on. And because I have not been able to do that, I basically have gone through the mourning process twice, which means like the first time it took me a year to accept that I was even having fibromyalgia and all these conditions. I'm like, I'm going to get better. I don't have that. I was in denial for a year. Then I went through the process of grieving and acceptance that, okay, I am not who I was. Unfortunately, like physically and all the things I could do, I'm not that anymore. And this is what I have to deal with now. And this is how it is. And I did accept it. But at the same time, deep down, I'm like, I'm still going to get rid of it. I'm going to fight for an answer. I'm going to fight for a root cause, a cure, a source, and I'm going to get rid of it. And that is how I was able to cope mentally. I told myself that I can be happy with this, and I can do well, and I'm going to push through because one day I'll get better. And so I've been doing that for almost 4 years. And I went through another, I basically every few months I grieve again, because I never lost hope of improving. Not to say I won't, but I have finally come to a place. I think it's been about 2 months now, where I have said, okay, I finally accept that I may never get better. This may be it. I'm not going to lose hope. I'm not going to stop praying. I'm not going to stop believing that I can be healed. Like, I just give up, but I'm not going to keep trying to fight for answers and spend the energy I do have trying to constantly fix everything that is literally impossible to fix. And when I say impossible, I've done everything that you've ever heard of. I've done. And so I had to come to a point where I'm like, okay. And dealing with it has been more difficult than expected, because it took me a little while to realize the only reason I was really okay with it is that I thought it was going to go away one day. And deep down, I do believe like I'll get a little better. I mean, if I get healed by God, then of course I'll be fully better. But I just still believe that I will improve a little bit if I'm able to finally like take care of myself. And so I work very minimal. And it's very difficult for me to work and to do pretty much anything that my body doesn't want to do at the time. So it's been difficult for me mentally to go to work, even though I love what I do and it's good for my mind to be with people and have that interaction and all. But because my my symptoms are all the time, every day, all the time. And there's little breaks, you know, minutes to hours of freedom here and there. I was becoming like really upset and nervous about going to work. So I'd go to work and then I would say, oh, this is good. You know, I feel okay. And I start working and then I start hurting and then I have more symptoms. And then some symptoms are physical, like you can see them, which is, it's okay that you see them, but I try to hide them. So I'm spending my mental and physical energy not only working, but mentally trying to say, like, keep telling myself, I'm good, I'm fine, like, I'm okay. And I'm trying to hide how I feel, because if someone comes in, how you doing? I'm like, oh, great. Meanwhile, I could have a lot of pain inside or having a problem somewhere, and I'm just coping. And so it's been hard mentally to deal with that. So my doctor was very concerned about my, I guess, like my physical state getting worse, and then my mental health becoming worse because I'm mentally trying to cope. So my therapist, I've been seeing someone to help me kind of like just piece it all together and help me to stay level-headed and see things from a different perspective outside of my own realm of thinking within the situation. And she agreed that starting Lexapro would be a good idea as well because of the situation that I'm in. I can't stop working. I like working, but it's causing my body to just wear out. So the cycle of go to work, and I barely work. This is ridiculous. I barely work, but I go to work and I enjoy being there, but it affects me physically very, very much. And so it starts to, within about, usually like right away when I get home, I start feeling things, but sometimes like I worked all weekend and I'm exhausted, but I've been able to like do a little bit, but it never fails. And it doesn't matter the mind over matter I do, it doesn't matter. I start having physical symptoms from the job I did. My job is physical and my body is dealing with a lot of things. And so between all the conditions I have, so mentally, I mean, to go almost 5 years and still be able to handle that mentally is really a good thing. But knowing that every time you go to work that you're going to feel worse is really difficult, and I can't just stop. I mean, eventually I'm not going to be able to even do the 10 hours I'm doing if I do not get well, but it's hard to mentally deal with it and it's stressful. So basically I want to talk about my first week on Lexapro. Sorry, I want to give you a backstory of why I'm on it. So I've been on Lexapro this is my 5th day, and I'm only on 2.5 milligrams. I am insanely sensitive to medication. I respond to medicine either really well or really poorly. I either get all the side effects and more. I have extreme responses within usually minutes to hours of one dose of something. And if that's the case, I can't take it. So far, I've responded very well to this medicine. I'm on 2.5 milligrams because my doctor has to be very conservative with how he starts medicine with me. And the only side effect I noticed I have had is the first day I took it, which they say that you don't feel anything for like a week or 2 or whatever, and it's not a placebo, because I've been thinking like, is this in my head? Is this just how I'm feeling? I did notice, like, because I'm so exhausted. So when I sleep, it doesn't matter how long I sleep, I feel like I never slept. It's horrible. The first day I took it, even though I was extremely exhausted, my eyes felt like 10 pounds each and I'm so tired. Within about 2 to 3 hours, I noticed that I had not more energy. I was like more like having more like the will to push through the exhaustion. And it wasn't like a sad depression fatigue. It was just, I'm exhausted. But it did something where it was like, okay, I'll push through a little bit. And mentally, like, okay, I'll go ahead and do this activity and then I'll try to push through that. And I still had to pace and all because I have physical symptoms, so I get exhausted from next to nothing. But I noticed that, and then I noticed that I was then later tired. So I don't know if it's the medicine or the fact that I just did stuff and now I'm worn out, because that's what happens with the conditions I have. I did notice that a little bit of stomach activity. I know it sounds weird, but my stomach it feels like I have gastroparesis that comes and goes, and then I also have like digestion issues. So I either feel like my stomach is just like sluggish and not active at all as far as moving things through my like real slow motility or really fast motility. And so I felt like it definitely like woke up my digestive system, if that makes any sense, and kind of like probably in a good way. So I noticed that, and that was it. Oh, and it did take away my hunger. I was literally not hungry. Like the thought of food, I'm like, ugh. So for the first 3 days, I was really not hungry. I ate about one meal. Then on day 4, I had a little more appetite, but not eating as much. So I would eat a little bit and then I'm really full. So, which is not a bad thing for me, because honestly, like with gastroparesis, and functional dyspepsia and all the stuff I can't really eat a lot. I'm not supposed to eat a lot at once, and I don't feel well if I do. And so it's probably a good thing. And I had been on another medication that gave me 10 pounds of weight over a year, which I just stopped that medicine a week ago, and which is good. So this might be good. I was concerned about weight gain. I'm very aware of weight gain, so with medicine. So I know I'm off track, but I told this doctor, because I heard about weight gain. And I said, if I gain even 1 pound, you better help me figure out a way, like some other medicine or something to take with this to combat weight, because I'm not going to gain weight just because I'm on medicine. Because I can't be as physically active as I need to be because of my conditions, and having more weight on my body is not going to help me feel better in any way. It's more weight on my body, which is a lot to stand on and feel the weight of it and all that. Plus, I don't want to gain weight because I want to be a healthy weight for my heart. I want to fit into my clothes. I don't have to be emaciated, but I definitely don't want to gain weight if I'm not even enjoying food. So I know that sounds odd, but that's just how I feel about that. And so now I'm on day 5, and I noticed that my mood is better. I don't really have a poor mood. The situation I'm in, I had some very discouraging news, because I've been trying to get on to something that is going to help me to eventually stop working and to finally like feel, like I can at least cope better and like do things for my body that needs to be done. So I was really upset about that. Other than that, like overall, I'm very happy with my life. I'm very fortunate and blessed in so many ways, but when it comes to like my situation, I hate it, because it's not just working and then it's making me worse. It's the fact that I just can't stop having these conditions. I don't want them. And so, I mean, who would? So it's been very hard for me as a person that is a fixer, and I've never been able to just accept anything. I'm like, well, I'm going to get rid of that, or I'm going to fix that, or I'm going to like push through that or overcome that, or I'm going to get a miracle or whatever. Like I don't know. I just have a hard time accepting things that I don't want. That sounds really terrible, but it's just honest. I'm very fortunate. Don't get me wrong. I know that life could be much worse. In my own health, it could be 100 times worse, but my life has completely changed with all of my conditions. Even though it could be worse, I still am responding to what I'm responding to. I'm just a human being. So I don't want to sound like I'm an ungrateful jerk explaining like I'm having a hard time dealing with, these many conditions I have, even though I can still see and function and speak and stuff like that, but I can't live the way I did. Like I went from like go to like a very slow living. And for somebody who loves to like, I'm a thinker and I'm a doer and all this, like I did not want to stop. I did not want to slow down. But that's for another video. It's probably a lot of benefit came to my life from slowing down, and I've changed like completely as a person. So a lot of good has come from this, don't get me wrong, but I'm just being real. So far the medicine I feel like is helping me to do things. So today I got up, I was exhausted. I'm always exhausted when I get up. and I took my kids to school, and in my head, and I always feel like this, okay, I'm just gonna my day off or whatever, I'm just gonna lay and rest for a little bit, and then I'll get up and do a little bit, and I'll pace, and I'll do this, not whatever, and I just really need to rest more. And it sounds crazy because I was in bed, you know, a decent amount of time, and I get out of bed, and all I can think of is I need to rest more. Like, what the heck is that, you know? But that's how I thought, and that was my plan. I'm gonna, you know, walk my dogs a little bit and then rest for a little while. And I said, you know what, I really need a shower. I really want to wash my hair. I have not done my skincare in forever, and there's some things I really need to do for me. Do I lay and rest, or do I try to push through it? So I was able to, it was hard. I know it sounds so weird, but because I was so exhausted physically, I was like, all right, let me take a shower. Let me try that first. And then after that, I was like, all right, let me just put my hair in a towel and let me do a mask on my face and some skincare on my face. Okay. And then while I'm doing that, let me make a video on, you know, why we should take care of ourselves and how to push through and whatever. And so I felt more mentally motivated, and more focused, because my mind is like, oh my gosh, it's like a marching band, and you took like a stack of sticky notes of things to do and you put it in front of a fan, and it's just swirling around my brain, and my list and things to do, and I end up doing like pieces of things throughout the day, and then nothing ever gets completely done. And then I make another to-do list, and then I'm always like, I'm backtracking the to-do list, when before I became like this, I made a list, I checked it twice, I did it all, and that was nice, so to speak, and I did some more. And so it's been crazy. I feel like it's like a mixture of brain fog, ADHD, and like I can't be hyper focused. I'm just activity in my brain so much that I'm just like do nothing. And so I feel like beneficial, as far as benefits from this medication, I'm in a better mood about my situation. I was never in a bad mood in general, because I am so aware of how my attitude and the way I am affects people around me. So I work so hard to make sure, and that's another thing, putting on the front, right? Even though I am happy, I make sure that if I'm unhappy about like how I'm feeling about my illness, that I'm not going around like, oh, my illness, and like I can be happy for my husband, whatever he's doing. I can be in the moment with my kids. I can be the encouraging mom. I can be all these things, right? And so the medicine, I feel like, is going to, so far, help me to not ignore the symptoms or forget that it's there or make it all better, or like, I am so happy being sick. But what it seems to be doing is making me have to try so stinking hard to tell myself, like, it's going to be okay. You got to be happy for your kids. You got to be there for your husband. You got to be this. You got to be that. Do, go. It's helped my brain like chill a little bit. It's helped me realize that if I don't do 9,000 things in a day, it's okay. It's helped me to actually start a task and like feel like I'm going to actually be able to finish it without like stopping and just starting something new. So far so good. It's not going to take away my physical symptoms because I still have pain. I know it's there. I never freaked out about the symptoms because I've dealt with them for so long. It has not made me like less nervous about the symptoms, but I think what it's doing is it's making me less like, I guess like upset about the situation. I'm still not thrilled with being like this, but I am learning that over time I'm gonna be okay, and that it's not the medicine that's doing that. The medicine is like helping me to be more okay with the fact that I'm going to be okay, if that makes any sense, rather than like, I'm gonna be okay, but I hate this. It's helping me to realize like, it's just going to be all right no matter what, whether I hate it or not, it's going to be fine. And so I do not know if my doctor is going to increase this medicine. I have a feeling that he's going to put me up to 5 milligrams eventually. I'm going to, my goal is to track each week and give you a symptom update, like side effects, symptoms, and all that. So far, so good. I did have a couple of weird dreams, no crazy nightmares, no night sweats yet, no weight gain yet. I'm very aware of it though. So normally I'm not an emotional eater. Like I'm either, I guess I have to say that's not true. If I'm really upset and crying, like I'm not hungry. But in certain ways, like I might be, I don't know, maybe I might get hungry or something if I'm feeling a certain way, but I'm aware of it. So I have self-control when it comes to eating. But I also am the kind of person that if you put Doritos in my house and cookies, I'm going to eat those. So I don't buy those things for myself, and I'm not going to go to the store to get them. So I have self-control as long as it's not like sitting right in front of me. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy on this medicine. I do not feel any weird mental symptoms from this medication. I feel like it's balancing my mood. It's helping me to be more on the positive side. I am a very optimistic person and very positive in general. But when it comes to this, like, I just don't like it. And because I don't like it, I'm not happy with it. But with the medicine, I feel like between therapy and the medication, it's going to work together to help me deal with it better, even though I'm not going to be like, Susie Joyful over being sick. It's just going to help me probably go into less of those moments, because I have these moments every few months where I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this anymore because of the mental load. So I'm curious to see between my therapist and my physical doctor, my primary care, thinking that me having to take such a mental load of coping with it is making everything worse, if I'm actually going to physically feel less of a burden because my mind will be lightened up, if that makes any sense to you. So I hope this video was not very complicated. I'm just speaking my mind and sharing the first week on this medicine. So number one, I am not a doctor. Number two, I am not a therapist. I am no medical professional whatsoever. I am a patient only. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to seek medical advice, medical care of a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a primary care, someone in medical professional business for any advice on anything. So do not put questions in here asking me advice, but if you want to ask me anything on my personal opinion on the medicine or what it's doing for me personally, I will answer any of that, but I'm not going to give you direction on what you should do because that is dangerous. So know that there is help out there, there's medicines out there, there are supplements, there are doctors of all kinds. My primary care was the one that recommended this to me because he knows me well and he could see the signs and he was concerned. And that is why I decided, after praying about it and talking to my therapist about it, I just felt peace that maybe I do need a little bit of help in that area, and I'm not ashamed to take it. I was actually, when I decided to do it, I had like this overall sense of peace, and I actually felt like joy to do it. I was like, maybe this is what I need, and I never even questioned that, to be honest. I'm like, I'm tough, I'm strong, I got this, whatever. But I mean, our brains can only handle so much. And if you follow me on my channel, you see all the things that I'm dealing with physically, how it can really weigh on the mind. So I have no shame in taking medication, and neither should you. So I hope that you click and subscribe and kind of follow along with this, because I'm going to continue to share my dosage and what I'm doing with this and how it's affecting me and helping me, and any side effects and any benefits. So see you soon. Bye.